Good afternoon, everybody. Dan Lopez here with Lunch with Local Legends, episode number 4.
Yeah.
And my special guest today is going to be Barbara Stewart with North American Title. How you doing,
Hey,
Barbara?
I'm good. How are you
Fantastic.
doing?
I've known Barbara for several years, and actually, she's probably one of the most popular title company people that you'll ever find over
Aw,
at the Orlando Regional
thanks.
Realtor Association.
Thank
See her
you.
literally everywhere,
Everywhere.
and always has a smile on her face.
Aw,
So tell us
thanks.
a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I
Absolutely.
appreciate it,
Hmm.
Dan. So let's see. I'm going to age myself and let you guys know that I've been in the business for over 20 years. I learned the title insurance business from my mom. So it's in your blood. You usually don't get into title insurance just because it's not
I guess that's true. I hear that quite a bit.
it's not the most exciting thing, let's say, but once it's in your blood, I guess that's kind of how you get into it. So learned it from my mom. Been in it for 20 years, and I guess the last. So I'm with North American Title. I just had my 4-year work anniversary.
Really?
So yes, I'm really excited. 12 years prior to that, I had my own title company, and so I've been there, done that, been in the files, been the receptionist all the way down to the post closer to the business owner.
So how old
Just
were you
kind
when
of
you
been,
first started
yeah, I was like
working in
10.
10?
Yeah,
Really?
10. Yeah, isn't that
Wow.
great? Like I said, learned it from my mom. She started me early. She's like, get out there and make copies and sign papers. And
So have you ever
so,
thought about doing anything else?
um, hmm, I don't know. I don't know.
So I guess that means no.
I know. Well, I got my degree from UCF. Go Knights! We won last night, so I'm excited about
They
that.
did, didn't they?
So my degree was in finance, and yeah, I didn't really think that I was going to get into title. I worked for an investment company. That was kind of fun because I traded stocks and bonds. I wasn't a stockbroker, but I executed the trades that our investment managers would give to us. So that was really exciting because you were trading, 50,000 shares of Disney or 25,000 shares of whatever. And the biggest fear at that time was, don't call in an order of 50,000 of a sale instead of a purchase, like you don't want to go the wrong way. And then all of a sudden you have to go to your manager and go, oh, by the way, I just sold 50,000 shares of Disney and you wanted us to buy. So
Oops.
how do we fix it? So that was always like, the scary part, but it was transactional. It was fun. It was, you were kind of in the stock market, but not really, but like just enough to feel the energy from it. So
It's probably pretty
um,
pretty fast paced, I
it
assume, right?
was, it was. So it
Yeah.
was fun. So yeah, thinking about doing something else. I don't know that I really totally know anything else or, but
Well,
my
you're so good at
passion,
what you do. So I mean, why
well,
would you want to anyway?
oh, well, thank you. So, my passion though is marketing. So I guess, if I was going to do anything else, it would be in the marketing world, but right now I'm doing that. I'm living that. I do the business development and I do the events for North American Title. And so I get that marketing bug out of me. So, yeah.
And that's basically why we see you at all these events is because you are the business developer for North American
Yeah.
Title. Do you do any of the closings? Are you behind the scenes at all?
I am sometimes.
Okay.
So yeah, month end, as you guys know, in the real estate world, month end is really super busy. Usually the last day of the month, everybody wants to, get that closing in real quick. So at the end of the month, I do go into the office and I help out our inside team. And yeah, it's fun. It's stressful, but it's fun because I think the closing table, because I'll be honest, I'm not doing the paperwork anymore. So I don't miss that. I don't miss the paperwork part. So I always try to be there to support my team and give them kudos because I know what they're dealing with. They're talking to, 10 different people on one file. There's so many hands that are involved in it.
Hmm.
So I can relate to what they're going through. So I'm there as their cheerleader at the end of the month. And then if we get real busy, if we don't have enough closers working on the files to sit at the table, then yes, they'll call me in and I'll sit and I'll do the closing with the clients. And, that's really, it's not fair because that's like the best part
Hmm.
of the whole file is doing the closing, sitting with
That's what it's
the
all about,
client. I
right?
know, sitting with the client, when they come in, find out, what their situation is, if they're the seller or the buyer, kind of getting a feel like, is this your first house,
Hmm.
and kind of just being real gentle with them and walking them through the process. If they've sold 4 or 5 houses and they've been there, done that, then it's a little bit easier closing. You kind of, okay, then I'll just show you, where to sign here, that kind of thing. So it's fun. Sometimes I think maybe I take too long in my closings because I talk to my clients that are in there and we just have a good time. And, I kind of like to have fun with the documents because it is kind of boring. You sign the same stuff over and over. And
has anybody ever complained about talking too much during a closing or having fun during a closing?
No, I don't think so. So I guess that's
right?
a good thing, right? I guess that's a good thing. But, when we're trying to get deals closed, and I know they want to get on to, getting the keys to their house and stuff. But I really have a great time when I'm in my closings, and we laugh, and, you find out about the people, and usually you end up somehow knowing them or someone that they know. And so, yeah. So to answer the question, yes, and I even go out. I had a friend of mine refer a deal to me the other day, so we met at Panera, and I signed with him and his wife, and did the documents there. And
very cool.
Yeah.
Well, the only reason I'm asking is because many times in this business, this ends up being somebody's second or third career. It's my second career, and to come across somebody who has been doing it since 10 years
old. That was 10. Yeah.
That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So what makes your company different from other title companies then? I know you're very large. You got, how many offices do you have around the Central Florida area?
We have a couple. So we have an office in Claremont and South Orlando on Turkey Lake Road, and then my office is in Maitland. So we have a satellite in Mount Dora. So we're working on growing the area, but we have them all throughout the state of Florida. So we have several offices. So I think the thing that sets us apart, we're all regulated by the state as far as what we can charge for title insurance. And then, of course, our closing fees and search fees will vary. But I think we're very competitive in the market. I think we're right in the middle where we need to be. But I think the difference is the people. The people that you're working with, the experience that they have. My closer's been in the business for 20 plus years. I've been in it 20 plus years since I was 10, and just the value that we can bring to our clients, just having been there, done that, being in a sales position, I've been inside also. So it's not just learning, a little bit about title insurance or how to do marketing. It's being able to bring to my clients education. I've done a lot of one-on-ones. I've done big classes, but I've also done a lot of one-on-ones, teaching how to read a closing statement, how to read a title commitment. These are things that you assume is known out there, but isn't. So if that's something that you need, we sit down and, I did a small group of 2. We had lunch and we talked about how to read the title commitment and how to read a closing statement, so, and I can do that because I've been there, I've done that, and I can give them pitfalls, hey, these are the things that you need to watch out for. If you see a title commitment that has this on it, this is what's going to happen, and kind of just be that extra resource for them,
Well, that's great, because a little secret about the real estate business is you don't learn how to read closing statements when you go into real estate school.
That's right.
You learn it when you go into brokers, get your broker's license, okay, but not as a sales associate. So you kind of learn as you go. So the fact that you're offering that and getting people comfortable with it, familiar with it, is outstanding. Kudos. All done.
Yeah.
Another little known fact about Barbara, she wasn't expecting me to bring this up, but she has a boat.
I do have a boat. Anyone want to buy a boat? It's for sale.
Well, the two best times in somebody's life.
Yeah. When you buy it, when you sell it. So lucky enough, though, we finally got it running after a year and a half. So it's running. So right now we like the boat. So we like it. It ran. Everything is good. But
I think you told me you went out a couple of weekends ago.
We
right?
did.
Have you gone out since then?
We did. Nope. I don't know if it's because we don't want to chance it because it worked well. And but the times that we do spend on it, Dan, are those are memories. Watching the boys jump off the boat or spending the night on the boat, and spending the night at the marina, at the dock. Just kind of hanging out or making scrambled eggs on a flame. It's kind of like camping. But camping on water, if you will.
Right.
So has its pros and its cons. And as you know as well, because you are
yeah.
a boat owner too. So
This is actually
yeah.
my favorite time to go out on the boat. But it's funny because my wife Tina, she doesn't like to go out when it starts to get cooler, and that's my favorite time to go out there.
Yeah, 'cause, it's not so hot. And then when you're coming back in and you got to clean it and everything, and you're so hot and sweaty, and the cooler, I would have to say this is about the perfect time for me too. So
All right.
yeah.
Well, let's get back to business.
Sure.
We can talk about the boat. Well, you were kind enough to kind of give me a list of questions and topics that you wanted to talk about here, and one of them is pretty interesting here. Well, they're all interesting, but nevertheless, the difference between a warranty deed and a quitclaim deed.
Yes.
Now, people, they hear the word quitclaim deed, and it's kind of like short sales. I think it's just something that happens real quick, and
right.
And I guess it is the simplest way of exchanging ownership of a property, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's funny that you say it happens quick, because I will tell you, everybody calls it a quick
right
claim deed. And it's funny when I get can you do a quick claim deed? I'm like, no. Quit claim, but so it is called a quit, QUIT, quit claim deed, and there's a big difference in the two of them. So quit claim deed just transfers title. So if you want to add somebody, remove somebody to title, but I will tell you it's real tricky to do a quitclaim deed, because if there's a husband and wife on title and one comes off of it, let's just say if you're changing who's in title and you have a mortgage and all those people that are on the mortgage are on title and you're changing title, the lender doesn't like that. Okay. They can recall your mortgage on that, or they can call it due and payable. I think you got to be really careful about that. The warranty deed is more of a guarantee of transferring title. So a warranty deed is done at closing with a purchase, whereas a quitclaim deed might be done that would be done like in between just anytime, right? Yep. So, but I will give you a heads up. We get a lot of phone calls to do a quitclaim deed. Hey, can you guys do a quitclaim deed? And the answer, unfortunately, is no, because we're not attorneys. Okay. So if we were to prepare a quitclaim deed, then we're practicing law without a license. So we can do a quitclaim deed if it's pursuant to the issuance of a title insurance policy. So if there is some kind of a real estate transaction involved, then we can do a quitclaim deed. Okay. So like on a refinance, sometimes people are refinancing to remove a spouse or add a spouse or some other family member, get a better rate. Yeah, that too. But as far as title goes, sometimes it's, pursuant to a divorce. And so we would do a quitclaim deed when we're doing the refinance, and we are allowed to prepare it at that point in time. But just for ha-has in between, we're not allowed to do it. So we always have to refer that out to an attorney. So, yeah.
Do you know a couple?
I do. I do know a couple. So if anybody needs one, I'm happy to refer out. Unfortunately, I will say that is one of our biggest title errors that we see when we do a title search. We will see that there was a quitclaim deed prepared, and it's prepared incorrectly. Right. So a lot of times it's being prepared, by an Office Depot form that somebody runs out. Oh, I think I just want to, add somebody, remove somebody, and they don't know the ramifications of it. Yeah. So the best thing to do is just kind of do your research on it, contact an attorney. It will cost you money, unfortunately, but it's going to ensure that, the transfer of title is done correctly. And a lot of times the quitclaim deed is there's no title search done with it either. So people are just like, oh, I think, this is who's on title and I'm going to transfer it out, when they didn't do the research to see, because it absolutely has to go from the exact names that are on title currently to whoever the new person is. So
you mentioned that that's one of the biggest issues that you see coming up in a closing is previous quitclaim deeds being prepared. Can you give an example of how that can be a problem?
Well, they'll assume that they transferred title to, let's say, a son in the transaction. Okay. Because, let's say mom and dad own the property and mom is ill. And so they're like, oh, let's hurry up and let's get her off title and then let's add son. So now, mom passes and now they think it's son and dad on title. Right. And the deed was done incorrectly. And now mom's already passed.
I see. Okay.
So, yeah.
So what kind of steps do you need to take in order to overcome the situation?
Oh boy. Call your real estate attorney. Well, there's a lot that's involved with that as to whether or not, who was in title, if it was joint tenants with right of survivorship. It depends on it. It really is going to depend on what they did to that quitclaim deed, how they did it. Then we have to go back to the root of title. So if that's an invalid quitclaim deed, then we go back to the root of title. So whoever was currently entitled before the quitclaim deed is what exists. So we have to go off of that. So if it was mom and dad and mom is now gone, now we got to look to see, did she have a will, that kind of thing. Did it go through probate or like what needs to be done? So
see, it would be impossible for me to exaggerate the importance of a title company for that very reason, being able to do the background search and being able to, issue the making sure that the property is free and clear of any title defects and offer the insurance in that way. You mentioned already that you guys are heavily regulated, and that's through the state, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that includes your fees and everything as well. How can a customer looking to have a closing get some kind of, is it possible to get some kind of a discount? Is there opportunity for discounts, or is it pretty much the fees standard across the board?
Well, the fees are standard for the most part. We do offer a hero discount. So if you're police, fire, nurse, teacher, veteran, we do like to offer a 25% discount on our closing
That's
fee.
very nice. Okay, I wasn't familiar with that.
Yeah, and then there is a thing out there you guys may have heard. It's called a butler rebate. So we are. I love.
It can't be the first time you've heard that, right?
It is. I think that really is. So that might be a new thing. You have to come in dressed like a butler to get the discount. So you can. We can offer what they call a butler rebate, which is us rebating our title insurance, a portion of our premium.
Okay.
So because we do give. We have underwriters. So we're the title agents, but we are selling other underwriters title insurance when we do the closing. So we don't get the full amount of the title insurance. We have to give our underwriter, a portion of that premium, and then we can split, give out a portion of that if it's asked. So as long as it's asked, we always have to honor it if it's asked for.
Interesting.
So, yeah,
so that's basically a reissuance of credit then. Or is that different?
That's different.
Okay.
Yeah.
So explain the butler rebate again then. I'm sorry.
That's more of just like a good faith credit.
Okay.
I guess that you want to give. The reissue credit that we were talking about. The reissue credit. So there's two ways to get a reissue credit on your title insurance policy. So if you are selling your house and you've owned it for 3 years or less, you can get what's called a reissue credit, which means when, so here in Central Florida, it's customary for the seller to pay for the title insurance policy for the new owner.
Sure. Okay.
Which I know is strange. It's like, well, why are you buying that or paying, for that, for the buyer to have it? But it's really, you're just kind of guaranteeing to the buyer that you've run a title search and you're kind of like handing over like, hey, this house is free and clear. Here's my gift to you, if you will, right?
This is my guarantee that the house is free and clear of any title.
Correct. So here's the policy that guarantees that. So, so if you have only owned your home for 3 years or less, then we all title insurance we all can do it, and we all offer it. Can offer a reissue credit. So basically, what you're going to do is you'll purchase the title insurance at a discount.
Okay.
So it's about $2 per 1,000 of a discount. So
that adds up.
without getting into like too many formulas and like being real specific on it, we have a nice little calculator that does it all for us. Or we have we can go old school. We actually have books that we used to like look up, the rates. Like this is the rate and this is the reissue credit. But now we have computers that do all that for us.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so you can get a reissue credit, and also you can get a reissue credit if you are refinancing. So the reissue credit is good for the whole entire time you own the property if you're doing a refinance. The other nice thing to know is that a lot of people think that if you sold your home with, you have an ABC title policy, that you have to go back to ABC title to get that discount, but you don't. So it's just kind of like a customary thing that we all, amongst all title companies, will honor other underwriters' policies that were written.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
if you go to ABC, you close with ABC, but now you want to close with XYZ, you can give XYZ your ABC title policy, and we will still honor the reissue credit on the sale or on your refinance.
Outstanding. Okay. Yeah. Wonderful. All right, well, and when you write a real estate contract, basically one of the things that we like to put on there is a good faith deposit. That number can vary, but the idea is the seller always wants to see a high number, buyer always wants to see a low number. And as a real estate brokerage, we can hold the monies here if we so desired. Many, I would say most, don't. That company, we don't. So what are our options when working with a title company like yours?
Well, I would say I know that most don't, on your side, don't like to be dealing with the money, right? You'd probably rather like, here, you guys hold it, so we're responsible,
Sure,
right,
right.
on the deposits. Yeah. So on the title side, yes, all you need to do is, and this is going to get, into the nitty gritty of the new wire fraud and all of that.
Which is important because right now there's a lot of fraud going on.
Yes, absolutely. So have your clients wire the deposit over to us, or they can drop off a check. It could be a personal check, but just make sure the closing's not going to happen at least 10 days out or more.
10 days or more, okay.
We want to be able to make sure that the check is going to be able to clear by the time we close.
Right.
But a wire is usually best. And then, let's get into the wire fraud stuff.
Sure.
So, you guys, I can't stress enough, like, how overboard you have to be with your wire instructions. So, for the real estate agents out there and lenders, if we can all just do it, our first initial email goes out and reminds people, please call us. I know we're emailing you the wiring instructions, but please call us to verify, because so many emails are getting intercepted from title company to, buyer or seller. And monies are just going where they shouldn't. So if we could all just really, really rehash it, with our clients, that you have to just pick up the phone and call, just go over the wiring instructions, verify that the numbers are exactly, what you see coming to you, and print that piece of paper and take that piece of paper to the bank with you, or have it right in front of you when you're calling the bank.
Right.
I just had, I had an agent call me the other day. Unfortunately, her buyer just lost $12,000 in a transaction because he was wiring his money over for closing, and he had received 2 different emails from the title company. So the first email came over from the title company, and it was encrypted like it needs to be. So he had the wiring instructions, but I guess somewhere along the way he got a second email with wiring instructions.
Oh, no.
And when he went to the bank, he was up in New York. It's down here, but he's running around trying to get the closing done, get all his paperwork handled. And he's at the bank, and he just, on his phone, pulls up wiring instructions and says, okay, here it is, and reads it to the teller. And he picked the wrong email. And so now $12,000 is...
Wow, you don't get that back.
Gone. So, so just, take the time, slow down. I know it's busy. I know there's a lot going on, but we really, really, really need to, remind our clients. And especially, I heard from a lender yesterday that he gets the title company's wiring instructions, and he even goes over, with his client before they're sending their money over as well. So he, says, okay, you read it to me, and I read it to you, and we make sure this is where you're going to be sending the money. So,
well, I guess like anything else, you got to check and verify over and over again, right? You want to receive it by email, and you also want to confirm it verbally over the phone as well.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a shame. And that just happened recently, you said?
Yeah, just this past week.
Oh, that's a shame.
And it happens to us too on our end, unfortunately. I know a lot of title companies have suffered from this as well, that, we get an email in from a seller. We actually, my manager in my office was able to stop it in its tracks, because we had a seller that last minute said, I think I decided I want to change, the bank account that I want my seller proceeds wired to. And actually the email was coming from the agents.
Okay.
And so she said, are you sure that you wanted to, you changed this,
Hmm.
And the seller or agent says, yes, my seller decided that, this is where they wanted to go to. And it just didn't sound like the agent. And as she's emailing the agent walks in the office. She's like, I just got an email from you. Did you send me this email? And she's like, what email? So, I mean, just being diligent like that and just
Yes.
really watching, paying attention to signs like that, when people are making quick changes. I mean, now I know it's like 10,000 layers deep on what we do for wires, but I mean, our wire instructions, when we do a closing, you have to fill out, all the wire information. You have the buyer or the seller, whoever's getting the money,
Hmm.
fills out the form, and that form has to be notarized. And then it's verified and re-verified. And, we just try to make a couple of contacts along the way. And so,
We
yeah,
can't be too careful. I mean, the last thing you want is for
it's
the
crazy.
money to suddenly go to the wrong
I
person, and
know. I know.
somebody's going to have to end up coming up with it.
I know. It's hard. It's hard. So,
Wow. Well, and again, speaking of the closing, so when somebody closes,
mhm.
there's a date and time that's established. Often the seller is either going to be receiving money, hopefully in this current market, they're receiving money most of the
Hopefully,
time.
yeah,
We just
yeah,
came out of a real estate market where quite often they were bringing money to closing.
yeah.